What is up, winning team? Guys, this Italy situation is getting rather interesting. Will I be going back this year? Let's talk about it. So, by the way, excuse the state. I mean, my skin is horrendous. I know you may or may not be able to tell right now. And listen, I'm trying to sort out a lot of things at the same time right now. If you couldn't tell, hence why I'm always recording while I'm like on the go. Anyway, so I have to tell you guys about this. So, normally, so for those of you who don't know, everybody knows, I'm sure, that every year for the last 3 years, I've gone to Italy, and it's always between May and July, usually for at least, well, the first time I went for 4 weeks, the second time I went for, I think, 2 weeks, and last year I went 1 week. Was it 1 week and then another week? I can't remember, but it's always between like 1 to 3 weeks, right? Like 10 to 20 days or so. So this is how it's always gone, right? Because obviously I just tell you guys literally when I arrive, which can I tell you is the hardest thing ever, because I usually know months in advance. My flights are booked months in advance. So like the first year that I went, I was asked in like January. Was it January or was it March? Around March usually is when, like right now, like this month, this is when flights get booked, right? So pretty much every year in March has been when, and I say flights are booked because the contracts can be signed anywhere from like before the flights are booked to like 2 weeks before, because obviously they've been traveling around the world. And so some of the time we've been organized like super ahead of time. And a lot of the time they're only able to do it last minute because they are moving and it is an ongoing, ever evolving show, right? So at this point we just, I don't know, there's so much to say. At this point we kind of just know that, yeah, it's likely if they're going to have shows in Italy, it probably means we're going to be booked. So this year they will be having shows in Italy. Now, before we get into this, oh my gosh, I don't know why I find the situation so funny. I've been finding everything funny all of a sudden. I think it's because now that I realized that I was right about so many things, and now that there's actually proof of it, I literally am just laughing at everybody. So I've been doing a lot of laughing. I can't even lie. The last couple of weeks, because everything is really just a joke. So let's fast forward back to where I was with this Italy stuff. End of last year. So I went in, what was it? July? Was it July or June? July or June. And you guys know I came back, and at that time we had all told each other, so I'm just recapping. We'd all told each other, see you in September, like, because they had all said, oh, it's his birthday, 10 days in Verona, you guys know the story. So 10 shows, I should say. 10 shows. So that would have been the most shows we did. Because the other times, we would be there for like 3 weeks, but then maybe we'd do like 4 shows in the week at one location, and then 3 shows. That's what I'm saying. It was honestly such a cool experience. So we were going to do 10 shows in Verona in September. So we were all like, yeah, see you in September. Again, we didn't have a contract. Wasn't official, but it was the usual talks, like what happened usually around January. So, bit of backstory. Every year I've gone, right? I've come back. Like the first year I went, I've always had mixed feelings about the situation, because on the one hand, I felt so blessed to have these opportunities, and like there's no reason for me to say no. Like I get to gain experience in something that I'm somewhat interested in working on. I get to travel somewhere. I never considered going. Italy was never on my list to travel to, by the way, funnily enough. of all the European places, it was not on my list, places I wanted to travel to. So, like, especially other than the Vatican. So I'm going somewhere I wasn't really planning on going. So there was so many positives. Then of course meeting my friend in person for real, and all of this. So many things, obviously, and I'm getting paid. Everything's paid for. Like, it would be actually stupid to say no. That's why I was like, I have to say yes, and I have to figure out how the hell I'm going to figure out this singing thing. This is what I'm thinking the first time, because it'd be so dumb for me to say no just because I was scared, like, to sing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I have to go. So I go, and when I get back, I had mixed feelings. I was like, this is incredible. This is the most incredible thing ever. I documented it. You guys all saw it. There was the other part of me that was dealing with the people aspect of just how draining it was for me, because, you know, I don't know how to put this in a way that's not going to sound bad somehow, but, you know, like when you're a person of God, amongst other people, it's like people really do gravitate towards you, and then they're very draining. So it's very, like, psychologically and emotionally draining, because I don't know what it is, but people seem to just feel very comfortable to just, you know, come to me for things or lean on me for things or just expect me to do things that I'm like, how do you expect this from me? Especially when I'm the amateur, I'm the, like, it was little things, like little small things, like the whole group of us girls who are all singing soprano, and they're all like asking me like, what's the notes we're supposed to be singing? I'm like, you're all the professionals. I'm supposed to be asking you, like, so it'd be stuff like that. Or it would just be like, you know, my friend being like, oh, you know, knocking on my hotel door all the time, like, can we pray about this? Can we pray about this? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was quite emotionally exhausted afterwards, because I was kind of just thinking I was just going to come in and just get a happy to be here and just do my part. And it was a lot more like psychologically taxing than anything, and the singing actually became not even the hard part, right? So every year I told myself I wasn't going to go back. Like, I never told you guys about that, but every year I would be like, I don't think I'm going to go back. Like, I think that was good for the experience. But then it would come up again and I'd be like, oh, I should, because like the benefits that, as I've laid out, and obviously I love, you know, Zucro, you know, I love him. I love him. So I was of all the places I could be spending my time and my efforts to supporting somebody, I'm more than happy to support that man's vision and whatever he's doing, right? So every year I'd be kind of calculating like how worth it was, like the emotional weight versus the benefits, like which outweighs each other, like which is more worth it, you know? And so eventually I'd always choose that, you know what, I should just do it and I should just endure, right? Because that's just always been my thing in life. You just do stuff. And that's the thing, like this is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it. This is actually one of the things I find in life that is I find really difficult and I struggle to navigate, is when you're in a situation where something has a lot of positives, but there's also a lot of negatives, and it's like you can't really talk with anybody about it because people only see the positives. Like, and I remember even trying to talk about it with a few people when I came back, like that I knew was close to at the time, and they didn't really, like, shout out to one or two people who kind of got it, but like a lot of people don't really get it because they're like, what do you mean you're like in this beautiful and this is what I mean about the like, I've lived a life of like everything looks so nice on the outside, but it's like hell. That's why psychological thrillers are my favorite movie genre, because they always start out and it's like this perfect little family or this perfect couple, this perfect little friendship group. They're all doing something really wholesome. Everything is exactly in its place and everything is perfectly put together. And then halfway into the movie, you realize this is completely heinous, because that's literally what my life has been like, right? So this has been one of my issues with this, why I haven't really shared some of the negatives, because I feel like I don't want to come across as ungrateful. And that's actually been, I feel like now that I think about it, it's been like a chain of always like every situation where I'm trying to just say something that I struggled with, it's always like, oh, but don't be ungrateful. But it's like, I'm not being ungrateful, I'm so grateful. But it's like you only get to talk about the gratitude, you're not allowed to talk about anything else, even if everything else is important. Because the first year when I realized that I actually was excited to go back home, that was a shock. Think about that. Think about the fact that I left the first year thinking after all I've said about this town and the hell that it is, I was so excited to come back. I was so excited because I was just like, you know what, better the devil I know, like, you know what I mean? At least I know I have my, like, my boundaries and stuff set up and my, like, my ways of doing things. Because I'm, like, in another country, it's in a different language, there's all these people. And then again, because I'm me, these people are meeting me for the first time under those circumstances. Like, it's just like, oh, she seems capable. Like, oh, if we ask her what the note is, she does know what notes we're supposed to be singing. Or if I ask her to do this, she does actually know that. You know what I mean? Like, so I am technically capable. But what I've been realizing is just because I'm able to doesn't mean I have to. Whereas people treat you as like, because you can do something, you should be doing it, and they're also entitled to it. Because obviously, if you're capable, that, like, it's the entitlement again. Like, I've been realizing a lot how people are very entitled in life. A lot of people, right? Very, very entitled. And if they see that you have something to offer or something you can do, they almost feel like you owe it to everyone to give it to everyone. Like, that's what I've been realizing, and that's what I've been kind of going against the last few months. Like, I was even saying with this whole teaching thing, it's quite ironic that, like, every day I'm getting emails about, oh, we need these teachers here and these teachers there. And past version of me would be, like, going out of my way to, like, really, you know, offer my help and whatnot and whatever, because everybody needs a maths teacher these days. And I realized you all need me more than I need you. Like, anyway, so now it's ironic because my emails, I'll have one email I got the other day, like, there's a local school near you that needs a maths teacher. Don't worry, the children are really well behaved. And I was like, that's kind of funny, isn't it? Because I'm also getting the emails from the companies who are working as the middlemen to the government, looking for teachers for the kids who've been kicked out of school. So it's like everybody's in the DMs at the end of the day. Like, so why am I, like, I've been realizing, why am I doing anything for any time I don't want to do it, right? So, yeah, this year I knew for certain I wasn't going back. Like, I wasn't going back. And it wasn't even just I wasn't going back. I knew they were not going to invite me back, because you guys know what happened when I ended up not getting on the flight. Because a whole bunch of things went wrong that day. And one day I'll still have more to tell, but there's some details it would just be unwise to share at this stage. You know, you see, it's still me being so careful about what information I do and don't share. Meanwhile, other people are just running their mouths, because there was a lot of that going on as well, especially from the older folks, just running their mouths, saying anything, sharing anybody's business, just hella messy. But anyway, so last year, when it came to the September thing, it was going to be a quick one, like 72 hours in the end, which I told you guys, and this is full transparency. I was already going in on the defense on the attack this time, because I was ticked off that he didn't get what he wanted for his birthday, right? He's 70 years old. We've all been here, kiki, hee-hawing, enjoying Aperol Spritz, Campari Spritz in Rome, in Torino, in Bologna, in all these places all over Italy, yeah? Doing the bare minimum. In these nice hotels with all this stuff, yeah? At the very least, we couldn't make sure that this man has his 10 days that he wanted. Nah, so they ended up agreeing to do one which he paid for by himself, which I was ticked off about. So I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna open my mouth this time. This is unacceptable. Like, and I know in the worldly sense, it's like, who are you to, like, say anything, get involved? Like, who aren't I? Do you know what I mean? And it's like I always say to you guys about the Bible, I realized after the fact. With God, it's like he has to just use whoever's there willing to be used, because there might be people. That was my thing all those years. I was like, you know, there's some of these people here claiming to be Christian. They've got more, They've got more ability or reason to feel the audacity to do what I felt like needed doing, but they weren't doing it. And my only regret is that I didn't just say to hell with everything else. That's what I'm doing now. I've realized, the humbling lesson I've been realizing is I have to just say, other than whatever God is asking me to do, to hell with everything else, because if I don't, then everything else is going to prevent me, right? So that's where I've just been missing in action. I've not even been talking to anyone, and I feel really bad for a few people I would actually like to get back in touch with. I can't afford to mess up, not right now. And as you can see, I'm just busy doing a lot of stuff, trying to get some stuff together, a lot of stuff together. But yeah, so I was going to go. Obviously, everything went wrong. They had misdone the tickets, as in they booked them the wrong way round. I was only going to go for 1 day, like 3 days in the end. And I just laughed at them because they tried to like get me again. Because I was like, I'm going to start, you know how people weaponize incompetence? I decided to start doing that, yeah? Because of course I know how to change the flight. Of course I can fix it myself. But I was like, I'm not going to do it. I sat in my garden and I laughed and I cackled. And I cackled as I watched them all scrambling around because it's there on the line. But I'm like, because you're the same older people talking about, oh, you're the problem with your generation, because that's what one of them said, who was involved in this booking thing. They were the ones who actually set me off as well, by the way. One of the times when I was there, it was like one of my last few days. They said the problem with the younger generation is, when I heard that statement, I was like, it's over for you guys now. You've just declared war. Like, you just have. Because if you guys are so comfortable to say what you have to say, now I'm going to be comfortable to say what I have to say as well. Yeah. How would you feel about that? So I was like, yeah, go on, you older generations, you competent so-and-sos. You figure it out. They were like, oh, we can't because we've got to do this, So we're just going to have to hope that later on we'll be able to do this. I get to the airport. There's all fires happening at the airport and this and that. Not to mention, they've thrown off my own schedule because you guys know, I know how these things work. So a lot of times my intuition and my organization, because again, I get treated, even when I'm over there, everyone talks to me a little bit like, well, not everybody, but a lot of them talk to me a little bit like I'm just an idiot. Which again, I realized I'm not going to fight back. This is making my life easier. That's the funny thing. It's like you always get both. But you never just get treated like a human. Like I either get treated like a child who doesn't know nothing, or an adult who's supposed to know everything. Even when I'm amongst adults who clearly don't know anything. And I'm like, I just want to be a human, like at the end of the day. So anyway, so I was ready to go on the attack. I was like, if I'm going on the attack. Yeah. To hell with everything. I'm prepared to lose everything. Like I'm prepared to lose all the relationships I have there. Like this is what I was thinking. I was like, I can't keep my mouth shut and I can't keep sitting around for this, because now I'm starting to feel like an L, because it's like every year I'll be away. It would give me an entire year to reflect. And when I'd last been there, I just got pushed to the edge where it was like, no, now we're past the point where, because the first time I went last year is when I got off the plane, so when I realized it was Jezebel. So I was still like investigating all this time, trying to figure out what is this spiritual situation happening here. And then that's when I realized it was Jezebel, who I then met a month or two later in August when I was in Poland. So all to say, I'm not going back this year. I wasn't invited back. But here's the punchline. No one's been invited back this year. No one. And I find that hilarious. I find that so freaking funny, because I take the group chat. Yeah, the only reason I haven't got WhatsApp was for this Italy stuff, yeah? So after all of this, I was like, okay, I'm going to archive the chat, because people are always talking in there about, oh, happy Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. Yada, 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 So I archived it, right? So the other day, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see. I was thinking to myself, oh, I can't wait for when it gets to like this time of year, when I know that, things are going to be coming together. Videos are going to be getting sent of what the movement is, even though that changes every year for some reason, and all this stuff, yeah? So I was like, and I want to see how they're going to go about telling me I can't go, that they don't want me to come, right? Because I could feel the tension in the room. Just like how, my friend, the first year that I went, how she never came back. Yeah, it was inevitable. And I think she knew as well that she wasn't coming back. Because she even said to me the second year, she was like, why have you even gone there? And I was just like, because I'm trying to be grateful. You know what I mean? try to be grateful and take advantage of this huge opportunity. Anyway, yeah, they've not been invited back, y'all. So I'm reading the group chat, and I just see this big message in there. And it's just like, this year they've decided not to, and I was just like, my life happens on beat, let me tell you, on beat. Because it's like, whether I wanted to or not, whether I was going to falter and be like, oh, but you know what? It's good for the experience. Oh, I can vlog. It's not happening, mate. And I thought it was just going to be me. Like, I expected to see them all going. I was curious to see who they would get to, like, replace me and all that. Turns out they're just not going. They're just not going. They've just not been back invited. And I find that to be so freaking funny. Like, I find that to be so freaking funny. And I just had to tell you guys about that because I was like, I don't know. In this life, with a lot of things that are happening right now, you know, I've spent a lot of time like gaslighting myself or being gaslit, you know, and there's things that I think about that. Like, I honestly think that whatever the reason that God brought all of this together, I don't think we achieved the mission that was at hand. That's the truth. I think that people's selfish ambitions and desires got in the way of what was actually supposed to happen. And I did say this in the very first time I went. I realized that in the first year, within about the first week, that like self-ambition was before God's mission. Like, because I realized very quickly once I got there, like after I'd actually done a show or two, they're like, oh, I don't think we're here because of the singing. I think we're here like because God has people that he wants to reach. And, you know, sometimes God has to do things, like he has to send people in the places where those people are. You know what I mean? And even I benefited, like I said, the main lead singer from there, you know, she was the one who gave me some really important, really good advice, you know, talking about God and God's timing and God's this and all this, and just like the people I met and the experiences that I had, and just learning even, you know, myself being able to be there and like, you know, seeing, you know, how I was getting so irritated with Jesus always on the cross just looking weak, which is ironic because this anime I was watching, it was like all the Norse gods, people were worshipping the Norse gods or were Christians in the anime, and the people worshipping all the Norse gods were teasing the Christians like, why is your savior always just there on the cross looking weak? And I thought, that's so ironic. This is exactly what I was saying while I was in Italy. So it's just funny how, you know, these things, like there's a purpose in everything, and like what we think something is happening for might not be it, you know. And I think that, yeah, in my humble opinion, in terms of the believers in question that were there, I think selfish ambition got in the way. And like what happens to Christians a lot, like, well, why would God bring me through this if this isn't like my big break, or if this isn't like my, I don't know, whatever, if this isn't whatever, when it's like, God's like, no, you missed it. You said you want me to use you. Well, I want to speak to this person, this person. I want to achieve this and this. And you're like more fixated on yourself. And I kind of feel like, that's what happened, and why we now fast forward this year. It's like, God's like, well, there's no need, like, like at least not in this particular story arc, or this strategy, which in a way is kind of sad, because I do feel like it feels like one of those things where what needed to be, like, I know, like from like times of the Lord, I know when I'm like in an environment, and I know when I feel that my job is done, and my job is really done, because I've been having a lot of that with my experiences, like especially in this town, especially with very specific people, where like there was certain things where I was like, I just feel like the work isn't yet done yet, or whatever I'm supposed to be here to do, it's just not done. But then I got to that point with a lot of things where I was like, you know what, this is done now, like this is done. Like even the other day I had another thing like that where I was like, okay, this is one of those other things. I'm like, the work with this is done. Like I just never felt like that. But then also I had my own lessons to learn. So yeah, anyways, guys, that's what I had to say about that. But yeah, no one's going back. And I was really looking forward to seeing how I was going to get told that I wasn't being invited back. Because I also heard what was said behind the scenes, behind people's backs, so the ones who didn't get invited back before, and the reasonings. And again, it's quite sad because like one of the one of the guys is like actually in a coma now because some people were, you know, suspecting that he was, you know, taking some previous serious things, which he definitely was, let's be honest. But what upset me about it, like, as you guys know, I always get upset about these things, is I felt like he needed grace because he clearly was suffering, like, in my opinion. And just from talking to me, like, he was clearly suffering. And I felt like he needed grace. He needed, like, love. He needed, like, a safe place, like, people that had his back. He didn't need, like, judgment or, like, you know what I mean? Like, some of the things he got, he didn't need to be, like, isolated as a result. Like, he needed to be, like, embraced. And then there's just me trying to battle with the older generations. I'm here, 28-year-old me. Who cares what I have to say, really? Like, so that's what I'm saying, where it's kind of like, even for me, I was just like, there's really no point me being there because there's this big, huge wall of ego and pride and self-ambition from other people. So I'm like, God, tell me if you want me to, and if you want me to really just bulldoze this whole thing and just, but it will create chaos, then fine. But otherwise, like, my hands are tied because I'm seeing this stuff. I'm saying it as well. Like, I'm saying to people, like, oh, but, you know, I don't know about this. Like, but, you know, he's obviously really struggling. Or, oh, but, you know, this, like, I'm trying. Like, I'm really trying. And it's just going nowhere. And, like, this is what I'm talking about when I say to you guys that, like, I'm just like, God, what's the freaking point? Like, what's the point in me trying? Because it's always people, when I'm actually trying to do the work, so is there people working against me. And at the same time, it's those same people that are the ones draining me because I'd rather save all my energy for people like him than for people who, like, are walking around here prideful, but also the same needy folks. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I'm going to go because I got to go and do something. So I'll be right back because I'm going to do another video. But I got to go and do something quickly, and then I'm going to go do something, and then I got to do something because I'm a busy gal. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's the story. No one's going back to Italy this year. No one. At least not right now. So I will say somebody did say something to me. I was telling somebody else I know about it. They said something that was a rather interesting idea. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there, you guys, because if life's a game, it's played to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. Let's see my next one.